Stuttgart-Schwarz für euch vor Ort und wir sind heute hier in der Hans-Martin-Schleyer-Halle in Stuttgart bei der Night of the Proms. Und wir werden gleich im Backstage-Bereich der Halle Boy George treffen und ein Interview für euch machen. Und wir wollten euch darum bitten, bis zum Ende des Interviews bitte dran zu bleiben, weil wir werden Boy George einiges oder eine Platte signieren lassen. Die könnt ihr bei uns ersteigern auf www.stuttgart-schwarz.de. Das Ganze geht an einen guten Zweck. Und zwar werden wir von eurem Erlös, das ihr für die signierte Platte ersteigert, Kinderspielsachen kaufen wir. Das heißt DJ Dave und meine Wenigkeit. Wir werden kurz vor Weihnachten dann in Kinderkrankenhäusern oder auch sozialen Einrichtungen umziehen und die Kinder dort beschenken. Das Schöne an der Sache ist, DJ Dave weiß noch gar nichts davon, aber er wird es jetzt wissen, wo er dieses Video sieht. Also ich habe das einfach mal für uns gedeichselt. Ich wünsche euch jetzt noch viel Spaß mit dem Interview mit Boy George und wie gesagt, feste mit. Okay, Stuttgart-Schwarz wieder vor Ort. Wir sind jetzt hier bei Boy George. Next to me is one of those guys which we've been stark warned by our parents to avoid him. Have a big welcome. Boy
now
George.
they're all here tonight.
It was successless, you see, and was no good. The Night of the Proms, Boy George, is one great opportunity for you to play again on a big stage for in a huge concert hall, great audience. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean it's very enjoyable. It's you know, it's very. If I say it's an easy show, that doesn't mean that I take that the wrong way. It's just very relaxing for me. You know, this is probably the most relaxed tour I've ever done. And
Really?
I've done many tours. This is very relaxed. I could do this the whole year.
Oh, that's great.
It's perfect. Except for the washing. It's hard to get the washing done, but apart from that, it's bliss. Yeah, absolutely bliss.
Okay, also, wie gesagt, er fühlt sich da ziemlich entspannt und das ist alles ganz locker für ihn. Freuen wir uns drüber. Boy, on the one hand, especially in the 80s and especially young people adored you. And on the other hand, you got a lot of scorn and derision by maybe old style or conservative people to this time. You were young, you were sensitive. How did you cope with those extremities in an emotional kind of way?
Well, I think when you're young, you always think that you're right. You know, it's a kind of natural state for any young person to think that you're right and they're wrong. So,
yeah.
You know, when I was I think when I was very young, when I was like 16, 17, you know, I was quite confrontational with people. You know, I suppose, in some respects, it was me against the world.
Yes.
And then I think once I got successful and experienced that kind of, you know, mass kind of adoration, I think some of that kind of anger went a little bit. You know, I was less defensive because I felt that I had a voice, because for me singing was really about having a voice. I had a lot of things to say, you know, so it was important for me to be heard, you know.
Yes. So you had a big self-esteem.
This music is extra.
It's really extraordinary.
Well, I don't know whether I had great self-esteem as a young man, but I was able to disguise it with lots of different beautiful looks. Lots of makeup.
Okay.
So, you know, I think the esteem has come with age. I think it takes a long time to sort of really have self-esteem, and I think that's come really in the later part of my life.
Ah, yeah, okay. Great. But George, it's Christmas time, and there's no need to be afraid, you know what I mean?
But it depends where you are.
26 years ago, at Christmas time, you've been a very important part of Band 8 with your fantastic voice and your solo part of Do They Know It's Christmas. In remembrance of this great act, how do you remember today on this 25th of December 1984? Can you tell us something about it?
Well, I remember that when I was first asked to do it, nobody really knew what it was. I got a phone call in the middle of the night in America. I was on tour. I just finished the tour and I was in New York, and I got a call from Bob Geldof.
Yeah.
This crazy phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning saying, I'm doing this thing, you have to come to London, la la la. And, you know, I was coming back the next day anyway, so I came back, and I think most people, before they got to the recording studio, had no idea what it was for, what it was going to be. It was a complete surprise. And by the time I got to the studio in London, round about sort of 7 in the evening. You know, literally every single known kind of artist in the UK was there, and then I think people started to realise that this is going to be something quite big. But to start with, I was like, he's crazy. What does he want me for? You know.
It was really crazy. And are you still in touch with some artists from Band Aid, for example, of Holly Johnson from Frankie Goes to Hollywood, or Mature, Ultravox, Duran Duran? Are you still in touch with?
Well, I'm actually good friends with Holly, and I see Midge now and then. You know, I don't sort of see him a lot, but we've done a few shows together last year. But Holly, I'm good friends with.
Really?
Yes, finally.
I'd like
Took a long time.
Okay. Perhaps you can persuade him to go to the night of the Proms.
Well, it's something that it's something I'm going to talk to Holly about, because I think it would really suit him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and as I say, I've been quite friendly with Holly over the last year or so, and you know, it's a shame that we weren't friends sooner, but we're good friends now. So it's nice. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we were a little bit kind of wary of each other in the 80s, but I think we've grown up a bit now, and you know, we realise that we have more in common than we don't. If you know what I mean.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah, it is nice to hear.
Great. No Class 28 was one of your songs in the later 30s. Meanwhile, Clause 28, which discriminated homosexual people in England, is deleted. I believe since 2003. Let's compare the situation of homosexual then and today. What changed in your opinion?
Well, I mean, you know, I think in the 80s there was this sense of real change and real development, and I think really in some ways we've gone backwards. I mean, I think that, you know, in the kind of developed world there is certainly a bit more acceptance of gay people, but then if you look around what's happening in Africa and places like that, you know, and even in some parts of Eastern Europe, you know, it's a worrying situation. So, you know, all that kind of good sort of, what I felt was, you know, all that kind of advancement in some respects seems to have kind of gone backward. I always really worry, you know, about kind of homophobia, and I think that, you know, when I look around the world, you know, there's lots of kind of right-wing kind of governments kind of springing up, and it always worries me as a kind of, I'm the kind of gay man who can't really hide what I am.
Yes.
So I don't blend in. So so my sexuality kind of goes ahead of me wherever I go, you know.
Okay.
So for me, I think it's something I worry about all the time, really.
You mustn't hide it at all. And do you feel as a part with together, perhaps with Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Bronski Beat, Erasure, with other gay artists from the 80s, who is responsible or a part of this change?
Yeah, I think we're all part of the change, but you know, I don't know. I just think in some respects it hasn't lasted. You know, I think people are kind of in some ways slightly intolerant now.
In certain countries, for example.
In certain countries, but also, you know, in this world, in this country, you know, in Europe as well. You know, I experience things in England. You know, there are people making records that are anti-gay. You know, it's still kind of okay to be offensive to gay people. It's still kind of accepted. So I still think there's work to be done. I know that's a very pessimistic point of view. But, you know, I mean, I think if you're a gay person that can't hide what you are and chooses not to hide what you are, you get constant kind of reminders of how people are uptight all the time, you know.
Okay.
If you're a drag queen, you know, your head's on the style chopping block,
yeah,
and you experience that kind of hostility, you know, on a daily basis. I mean, obviously being famous, you know, it kind of gives you an excuse.
Yes. Yes, for other people on the street, it's more difficult.
I think it is, you know, and so I'm always aware of this fact, you know.
Okay. What can you imagine to make a new album, perhaps together with Culture Club, and as the case may be, to go again on tour, like for example KJ Gugu did this year again?
Well, we are going to do a tour in 2012 because it's our 30-year anniversary, so we've already planned that.
Ooh.
But how it will kind of evolve and what it will entail is still yet to be decided, but we've talked about that, because really 2012 is the last chance for us, because otherwise we'll have to wait another 10 years and we'll be 60. So, so I figure that doing it in 2012 would be, and also it's the exact, you know, it's 30 years after we started. No, before White Boy. White Boy was the first single in 1982. Right. So yeah, we're kind of planning to do something, and you know, that's definitely going to happen. But how it will happen and what it will be is still yet undecided. But we're going to make a new record as well.
Wow. So you say 2012, now or never?
Yeah, now or never really. And I think also, you know, it's something to celebrate. 30 years is a long time, you know. I know we haven't been together the entire 30 years, but it's definitely a benchmark for us, you know, as a band.
Very interesting. Thank you very much for being here. We please you again to sign a record.
Yeah, sure.
We will. This record will be offered at Stuttgart-Schwarz, and it's for children in hospitals.
Okay, lovely.
You can bid for this record, and the money we buy toys, and we give these toys then to children here at Stuttgart in hospitals and in social.
So give generously.
Words.
Do you have a pen?
Yes, I have. In green, but it doesn't matter.
We won't show up though.
Okay.
Come in.
I'm so shy. Oh.
No, you can come in, it's fine. Okay, we're done.
Oh.
Hello, you were great.
Hello. Thanks,
Thank you
darling.
very much.
How are you?
I just had a big reality check. Straight
So the
into
what?
Straight into Richard's hair. And I was like, oh,
Really?
straight into Richard's hair.
For me, and that's special. And dedicated it to Jolly.
How'd you spell it?
Jot. O. J-O.
Oh.
L-L-Y.
Oh, jolly like jolly.
Yes, that's me. Thank you. I'm gonna be in my bedroom, huh? So you're still always in my bedroom?
Oh, lucky me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Ciao.
much, Boy George.